The weapon that ends you is rarely the one you anticipate. It is not held by an enemy shouting at your walls. It rests in the sleeve of the person pouring your drink, sharing your table, laughing along with you. Human biology trains us to fear the visible threat, the predator hiding nearby, the unknown figure in the dark. But Niccolò Machiavelli, who grasped the harsh mechanics of power more clearly than almost anyone, understood something deeper. The outsider cannot harm you because you never grant them access. You construct barriers against enemies. You secure doors against thieves. Yet for friends, you open the gates. You lower the bridge. You expose the most vulnerable parts of your thinking. That is why betrayal, when it arrives, is not a fight. It is an execution. Most people only realize the danger once the damage is already done. They wait for disaster before accepting that they were resting beside a snake. They wait until it is too late. Machiavelli warned, "He who deceives will always find those who allow themselves to be deceived." You are being observed. Your kindness is being evaluated. Your trust is being measured for its usefulness. If you cannot see the intent behind the smile, you are already compromised. This is not a discussion about toxic relationships or boundary setting. Those are modern terms that avoid the core issue. This is about survival. We are conducting a psychological autopsy on the false friend. We will examine betrayal before it occurs. We will identify the Machiavellian signals, the small, often unnoticed indicators that expose real intentions long before action is taken. You will learn the 3 archetypes of the hidden adversary. You will learn a pressure test that cracks the mask without confrontation. And you will learn how to neutralize them, not through conflict, but by becoming a reflection they cannot tolerate. This process requires sacrifice. You must remove the part of yourself that needs approval, the part that assumes everyone is fundamentally good. Machiavelli wrote, "A man who wishes to make a profession of goodness in everything must necessarily come to grief among so many who are not good. To endure among wolves, you cannot remain a sheep. You must become something more controlled, more observant, capable of seeing reality as it is, not as you want it to be. Once you recognize the truth, there is no return to illusion." Why does it happen? Why does the friend you helped secure a job work against you later? Why does the person you supported through loss seem pleased when your life falls apart? You ask yourself what you did wrong. That is the first error. You are interpreting the world through morality, right and wrong, loyalty and gratitude. The Machiavellian perspective views the world through necessity, through cause and effect. Machiavelli stated plainly, "Men are ungrateful, fickle, pretenders and dissemblers, avoiders of danger, eager for gain." He did not say some people. He said people. This is human nature. The false friend does not betray you out of hatred. They do it because you obstruct their path or because you serve as fuel for their advancement. It is not personal. It is calculation. Understand the concept of the zero-sum ego. For many individuals, your success feels like their loss. When you advance, they feel diminished. If you stand on equal ground, there is balance. But when you rise, through recognition, income, or influence, the gap creates tension. That distance produces anxiety. It breeds envy. And envy is the most dangerous emotion because it is quiet. Anger announces itself. Envy operates silently. Machiavelli observed that people are so driven by immediate needs that deceivers never lack opportunities. The false friend follows their short-term impulses, the need to feel dominant, the urge to regain control. They praise you publicly, but their expression lacks warmth. They offer assistance that increases your dependence. They are not allies. They are opportunists waiting for weakness. History offers a clear example. In Renaissance Florence, the Medici family was surrounded by partners and allies, the Puzzi family among them. They shared meals and business interests until Easter Sunday, 1478, during Mass inside the cathedral. As the Medici brothers knelt in prayer, they were attacked. Why then? Because that was the moment of maximum vulnerability. This is the method of the false friend. They do not strike armor. They wait for submission. So how do you identify the threat before it acts? You look for disruptions in behavior. You identify the patterns Machiavelli would have noticed immediately. You cannot counter what you cannot define. False friends are not identical. They appear in distinct forms. Once classified, they lose power. Archetype 1. The sycophant, the flatterer. Machiavelli despised flatterers and warned extensively against them. Courts, he noted, are filled with people who praise because it serves them. The sycophant agrees with everything you say. They laugh excessively. They affirm instantly. You're absolutely right. They don't appreciate you. You're the smartest here. It feels supportive. It is not. A real ally challenges you. They correct you. They protect your future, not your ego. The sycophant inflates your self-image to weaken your judgment. As long as you are intoxicated by praise, you are easy to influence. They invest in your vanity. Observe the person who never disagrees. Observe the one who praises achievements you have not earned. They carry a blade hidden beneath admiration. When your status falls, they disappear. Their loyalty was never to you, it was to your position. Archetype 2. The crisis architect. This one is less obvious. They are perpetually in turmoil, always wronged, always struggling. You become their rescuer. You listen. You lend resources. You repair damage. It feels meaningful. It is exploitation. This is what Robert Greene describes as the infector. They do not cling to survive. They cling to pull you down so they can stand. Test them when you are the one in trouble. When you need support, they vanish. They listen briefly, then redirect attention back to themselves. They cannot carry your burden because your hardship offers them nothing. Machiavelli would advise distance, not out of cruelty, but out of awareness. Chronic misfortune often stems from repeated poor choices, and it spreads. The crisis architect drains time, focus, emotion, and energy. In power dynamics, energy is currency. Anyone consuming yours without return is taking from you. Archetype 3. The subtle saboteur, the whisperer. This is the most dangerous form. Intelligent, capable, often appear. They avoid direct attacks. They rely on implication. You did well, surprisingly, given how exhausted you looked. The compliment lands, but the doubt remains. They share your vulnerabilities disguised as concern. I'm worried about John. He's been under a lot of stress lately. They are not concerned. They are distributing information. Machiavelli understood that reputation determines power. The saboteur erodes yours gradually, through suggestion, tone, and timing. If confronted, they deny intent. You're overreacting. I was joking. I support you. This creates confusion. You must remove that fog. Once you suspect a threat, do not react emotionally. Machiavelli never acts on impulse. He acts on understanding. You need evidence. You need to observe their inner mechanism. You do this through controlled tests. Test 1. The good news trap. Most people believe loyalty is tested during hardship. That is incorrect. Anyone can show up when you fail. Your struggle comforts them. If you want clarity, share success. Announce a promotion, a relationship, a financial win. Watch their eyes. For a fraction of a second, the expression will change. In that moment, the truth appears. You will notice a brief flash of detachment, a tightening of the mouth, a dullness in the eyes. Then the expression resets. Oh my God, that's amazing. But something feels wrong. The tone is too sharp, too forced. The energy does not match the words. They may quickly add a question that reduces the impact of your success. That's great, but are you ready for the higher taxes? Wow, I just hope they don't turn out like your ex. The moment is punctured. The air leaks out. Oscar Wilde observed, anybody can sympathize with the sufferings of a friend, but it requires a very fine nature to sympathize with a friend's success. If someone cannot celebrate your win without attaching doubt, warning, or comparison, they are not neutral. They are a liability. Machiavelli would notice this immediately. He would not confront it. He would simply reclassify the person, from ally to potential threat. Test 2. The information diet. Also known as the starvation test. False friends trade in information. Gossip is their currency. Access to your life gives them leverage. So you stop supplying it. You become quieter. Still polite. Still present. But imprecise. How's work? It's work. How's the relationship? Steady. What are you planning next? Not sure yet. Still thinking. Then you observe. A genuine friend respects privacy. They are comfortable with gaps and silence. The false friend becomes restless. They feel the loss of control. They push. You're being strange. Don't you trust me? They may offer a personal detail of their own to trigger exchange. I'll tell you mine if you tell me yours. This is not bonding. It is negotiation. They are attempting to purchase your vulnerability. If they react with irritation when you reduce access, it is because they were extracting value and you closed the supply. Test 3. The no audit. This is the most direct test. Decline a small, reasonable request. A favor. A loan. I can't do that right now. I'm not available. Then watch carefully. A real friend accepts limits. A parasite treats refusal as betrayal. They guilt you. After everything I've done for you. I thought we were friends. This is emotional leverage. Machiavelli understood that relationships built on usefulness collapse the moment usefulness ends. If a connection cannot survive a simple no, it was never a relationship. It was a transaction, and you just violated the terms. You have completed the tests. The evidence is clear. The person you trusted is not loyal. This realization hurts. It activates deep instincts, the fear of abandonment, the pain of exclusion. You will want to rationalize their behavior. Maybe they're overwhelmed. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. That impulse is weakness speaking. Denial is how damage becomes irreversible. Machiavelli insists on facing reality without emotion. It is necessary to be a fox to discover the snares and a lion to frighten the wolves. Until now, you have been the sheep. Now you must become the fox. Accept this clearly, they do not value you. They value what you provide. And that acceptance is power. Once you stop expecting loyalty from someone incapable of it, you regain control. You stop seeking validation where none exists. You stop negotiating with distortion. When you recognize them as a rational actor pursuing self-interest, emotion loses its grip. Strategy takes over. You do not need hatred. Hatred binds you. Machiavelli did not hate his adversaries. He analyzed them. The objective is indifference. Controlled distance. Clinical clarity. They are now a piece on the board, dangerous, but understood. So what is the response? Do you cut them off? Disappear? Confront them? That is impulsive. That creates noise. Machiavelli warned against creating unnecessary enemies. Ghosting invites retaliation. Open confrontation invites revenge. We need something quieter, more controlled. This is the method of gradual withdrawal. The discipline of strategic disengagement. If you accuse them directly, you betrayed me, you hand them control of the story. He's unstable. She's paranoid. I was only trying to help. You lose credibility. They gain sympathy. Machiavelli advised, never attempt to win by force what can be won by deception. You do not declare war. You appear calm while undermining their position. Tactic 1. The fog of boredom. Also known as the gray rock approach. False friends thrive on two things, admiration and reaction. Remove both. When they provoke with subtle insults, do nothing. No defense. No explanation. Interesting. Maybe. Then disengage. No eye contact. No emotional shift. They cannot influence what does not respond. This unsettles them. Eventually, they disengage and look for a more reactive target. You have not attacked them. You have simply become irrelevant. In Machiavellian terms, being unprofitable to a predator is safety. Tactic 2. Strategic proximity. Keep your enemies close is not advice, it is surveillance. Total separation cuts off intelligence. You lose visibility into their behavior and influence. Instead, maintain distance with access. Cordial. Superficial. Controlled. Smile. Shake hands. Attend events. But the power dynamic has reversed. You now control information. You share plans you will not pursue. Concerns you do not hold. Then you track movement. If you tell only this person that you are considering leaving your job, and days later that idea reaches your employer, the signal is confirmed. They become a tracer, a diagnostic tool. This requires discipline. It means sitting at the table with full awareness. It is uncomfortable, but blindness is worse. Tactic 3. The mirror of void. When sabotage appears, do not defend. Reflect. They say, "You look exhausted. Are you sure you can handle this?" Do not reassure. That is submission. First, hold eye contact. Allow silence. Then ask calmly, "Why do you ask?" Force them to expose intent. "I was just concerned." "I appreciate that." "I'm focused." End the exchange. You have not accused them. You have not reacted. You have demonstrated awareness. Their tactics no longer land. And they know it. A false friend will become unsettled the moment they realize you are no longer following the script of social politeness. You are now operating by the rules of reality. Once the decay is removed, once the parasites are identified and neutralized, what remains is an empty space, a gap where certain people once stood. That space feels quiet. It feels lonely. That is not a problem. Machiavelli spent years in exile, stripped of rank and removed from the political world he valued. In that isolation he wrote The Prince. In solitude, his ideas endured. Most people surround themselves with constant noise because silence forces reflection. They gather friends in bulk, prioritizing numbers over substance. Popularity becomes the goal. The Machiavellian objective is not popularity. It is effectiveness. This requires redefining friendship. Stop applying that label indiscriminately. It is a serious designation. Treat it with restraint. Establish structure. Level 1. Useful allies. These are professional connections. People you collaborate with. Individuals with whom you exchange value. There is mutual benefit. Treat them fairly and with respect, but do not grant them access to your inner world. They do not need your private thoughts or long-term plans. They remain allies only while interests align. When priorities change, alignment changes. This is normal. Accept it without resentment. Level 2. Pleasant acquaintances. These are social companions. Neighbors. Casual friends. People for leisure and light interaction. Enjoy their presence, but understand their limits. Do not expect them to endure hardship alongside you. They are present for stability, not adversity. Allow them to be who they are without assigning roles they cannot fill. Level 3. The few. This group is rare. Perhaps 1 or 2 people in an entire lifetime. Individuals who gain nothing from you yet remain consistent. They confront you honestly in private and defend you publicly. They are revealed over time, especially through difficulty. As Machiavelli noted, fortune governs much of life, but adversity reveals character. When you find these individuals, protect them. Loyalty is justified here because authenticity is uncommon. Until then, accept solitude. Empty hands are preferable to false company. It is better to stand alone than to stand among liabilities. History supports this principle. Your strength does not come from the size of your circle. It comes from independence. Predators operate alone. Herds exist for protection because they are vulnerable. The question is simple: are you avoiding solitude, or are you prepared to govern your own thinking? As this concludes, you may sense a shift, a loss of innocence. The idea that everyone is kind and fairness always prevails is comforting, but it is inaccurate. Comfort can become confinement. Machiavelli is often labeled immoral because he described reality without decoration. He exposed human motives: self-interest, fear, ambition, desire. Recognizing this does not make you unethical. It makes you prepared. It reduces your exposure to exploitation. When you identify a false friend, you are not losing a relationship. You are shedding a misconception. You are removing a risk. Imagine navigating a minefield without sight. That is how you were operating before. Awareness does not remove danger, but it allows you to move deliberately. Fear is preferable to blindness. The cost of authority over your life is the end of naivete. You cannot assume goodwill. You must observe behavior. You must measure consistency. Actions reveal more than language. This is the responsibility of the architect. You build on solid ground, not unstable material. Stone is rigid and cold, but it holds. Sand shifts and collapses. Remove the sand. Stand on what lasts. Before closing, consider one final point. We have focused entirely on external deception, the flatterers, the manipulators, the quiet underminers. But Machiavelli issued a final warning. The most dangerous deceiver is not across the table. It is within you. Why do you allow flattery to work? Because ego seeks reassurance. Why do you tolerate disrespect? Because confidence is incomplete. Why do you keep rescuing unstable people? Because being needed feels like worth. A parasite survives only by attaching to weakness. It cannot remain on a healthy host. To become truly resistant, you must address the internal needs that invite manipulation. Eliminate dependence on approval. Without that need, praise loses its power. Remove fear of rejection, and sabotage becomes ineffective. When you are whole, manipulation fails. You become incompatible with exploitation. Attempts to control you simply slide off, leaving confusion in their place. No tactic works on someone who governs themselves. This is the real victory, not defeating others, but surpassing them. Your circle becomes smaller. Your boundaries become stronger. Your awareness remains active. You now understand the patterns. The flatterer, the crisis architect, the whisperer. You know the tests: success, silence, refusal. You know the responses: neutrality, distance, reflection. Do not use this knowledge to become hostile. Use it to preserve what matters. Protect your energy. Protect your direction. Protect what you are building. The world contains many disguised threats. Strength does not require noise. Awareness is sufficient. Reality is not kind, but it is honest. Welcome to that reality. If this perspective clarified things for you, understand that this is only the portion that can be shared openly. Certain topics cannot be discussed publicly without consequence. More detailed material exists elsewhere. Subscribe if you have not already. And for those who want deeper, unrestricted discussion, the option to join is available. That space is not for everyone. It is designed that way.